As cities grow hotter, the burden of climate change falls hardest on those who keep urban life moving. A truly resilient city protects the health, dignity, and future.
Subscribe to UPSC IS Desk Official for daily UPSC updates, current affairs, editorials, mock tests, and complete exam preparation.
Hello everyone, welcome back to UPSC IS Desk Official, and I hope you all are doing well. And today we are going to discuss an important editorial about sanitation workers, why they are, why they are the true key to make our cities resilient, and why we need an inclusive and integrated climate action plan, a plan that truly support sanitation workers as well as make our city more fairer and more resilient for everyone. So before we start the editorial is kind of posing a question to every reader. So let's try to answer that question. So they're saying that when we talk about development, we just talk about infrastructure, smart cities, metro rails, and billion-dollar buildings. But what if a sanitation worker collapsed from heat stroke on the street? Does our city actually care about them? Because the answer to that question tells us the present condition of urban India. So let's start the editorial with the news. So news is that Karnataka is getting a new urban development minister, and don't worry, the article is not about Karnataka. The author is using this news to raise much bigger question that every Indian city should ask themselves. So as I said that when we talk about development, we just talk about the infrastructure, technology, and smart cities and metro rails, so on and so forth. What we miss, the invisible worker, those who are actually making our city more livable, truly livable, and taking care of health and well-being of the people and making the city more sustainable. So I hope you understood about whom we are talking. We are talking about sanitation workers, street sweepers, waste collectors, and rain cleaners and other people, those who are performing these essential services. But if you talk about their experience, their daily life teaches a lot about how our cities actually work. Especially in the time of climate change, these workers are spend long hours outdoor, exposed to the sun and frequently to the intense heat waves. That is causing dehydration and tiredness and kidney related issues and heart related complications, and that is reducing their productivity. They are not even able to work, yet they often lack the basic protections such as access to drinking water, shaded areas to rest, flexible working hours during the peak heat, and daily routine checkups. So if you are thinking that their struggle is just limited to their work, then you are wrong, because they are facing double burden. Workers are facing risk on their job, and when they return to their home, they are not safe as well. Because if you see their housing condition, a large number of sanitation workers live in slums and informal settlements. So as a result, their houses are overcrowded, poor ventilation, no proper airflow, not enough water, and very few trees or limited green spaces. So they face heat both at the work and at their home, and during extreme hours they do not have sufficient water for drinking and to cool themselves. And because they are living in slum areas, so you can think about the poor drainage. Poor drainage means floods and diseases that can easily break out. So it is a double burden. They are suffering heat at their work, and they come back home, they are still unsafe. So there is no relief for them anywhere. So what is the real problem? The real problem is the governance. We don't value our workers. The editor makes a very strong and uncomfortable point here, is that there is a deep disrespect for labor dignity in how India runs its cities. So let's explain this. Sanitation workers are often hired through contractors, right? So what does that mean? This means that they don't get the same protection and benefit as the permanent government worker. So that means we have a class of workers who are really essential for us, but we just treat them as if you know uh, they don't really matter to us. So their health and safety is just being ignored to save some money and for some administrative convenience. So this is not just about bad rules. This is about the mindset that sees sanitation worker just as a tool, not as a citizen with right. So let's talk about some social protection schemes. We have some social protection scheme, but it is not accessible to the sanitation workers. So the author talks about that the social protection scheme just exists on paper because because of administrative barrier, lack of awareness, and complicated documentation, and different departments not working together, right? And even when workers are aware of these benefits, they are they do not even have access to them. And we have heard that urban primary healthcare services has improved recently, but we don't know if these clinics can actually treat heat related illness, and are the doctors trained? Do this worker know that this clinic exists, and can they go during their working hours? So the answer to most of these questions are unfortunately no. So why nothing is changing? Again, the editor makes a really important point that the disrespect for worker is not about a bad implementation. It shows a deeper problem in how we think about governance. Sanitation workers are at the center of many policy failures. For example, poor city management, bad labor rules, terrible housing, and weak healthcare and weak social protection. And but all these issues are treated as separate problem. No single department is responsible for the overall well-being of these workers, and that's exactly why nothing is changing, right? Okay, now, so what should we do? The editorial is outlining a clear and actionable roadmap uh, that should be nationalized. First priority should be climate and heat consideration must be integrated into occupational health. Every municipal and contract worker must have drinking water at work, shaded rest areas, flexible working hours during peak heat, and routine health checkups and accessible healthcare. And second priority is investment in informal settlements. So the government need to upgrade slums with proper housing, reliable water supply, functional drainage, and green cover and trees. So this is not just the welfare scheme; it is actually the climate resilient action plan. And third priority is strengthen urban primary healthcare. Train doctors and nurses to recognize and treat heat related illness. Ensure health centers are accessible geographically and financially to this worker. And the fourth priority is we need data. So build better data. Without data, we cannot design effective policies. So we need occupational health exposure, health seeking behavior, and health cost and long term health impact data to make better policies. Fifth priority is integrated urban governance. Climate resilience, public health, labor welfare, and housing policy, uh, you know, are currently working separately, but for sanitation workers, they are one and the same. So cities need unified command, one table, all departments, and one plan. So with that, we have a beautiful conclusion here. The author says that the cities are not about buildings. So as India's cities are growing fast, we have choices. We can keep focusing on concrete and building and technology, or we can build cities that work for everyone. Starting with the worker, those who are working really hard to make our cities sustainable, sanitation workers. And sanitation workers teach us a very important lesson, that cities are not defined by the buildings and the bridges alone. They are defined by the system that allow people to live, work, and remain healthy together. So the second point is, the author says, this is all about justice and dignity. The failure we see because of climate change are not just about technical problems. They are about justice, dignity, and political will. Whether we have the will to do what's right. So for fixing things means accepting that sanitation workers are not just laborers. They are the citizen with complete right to health, right to safety, shelter, and a livable future. So, in making inclusive integrated climate action is not just about adopting the climate change; it is about making our cities more just and equal for every urban citizen, right? And the third conclusion is that is the time for change is now. And finally, the author talks about the time for separated building only approach is the development is over. India's future depends on city that put people before projects, and dignity over convenience, and justice over cost cutting or saving money. And sanitation workers are the true measure of uh, sanitation workers are the true measure of a city's health, and shows us the way forward. The only question is, will our policymaker choose to see them? So that's it. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.